Oh, you're having to go on the arcade. What's that you're playing? Is that...
Yeah, it is. I just fancied a bit of arcade action, and somebody once told me that arcade conversions on the Amiga are not very good. Right? 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 Hello everybody, welcome to the Re-Review, the series where I get to replay and reassess games from my favourite gaming era. I'm Brian, also known as UKGN Zoidberg, and I'm long overdue a visit to an arcade. Thankfully, I don't have to wait much longer, as this August I'm going to be attending the Timeless Gaming Convention at Arcanes in Liverpool. Not only that, I'm an officially listed creator at the event, and I'm beyond excited about it. And a little bit nervous too, it must be said. If you are going to be there too, please feel free to look me up and challenge me to a score contest. Chances are, you'll probably win. Unless it's Ridge Racer. There's going to be a bit of an arcade theme about this episode too, as today I'm replaying one of the many arcade conversions released for the Amiga. Rodland was published by Storm, developed by Random Access, and released towards the end of 1991. If you go all the way back to episode 14 of this series, you'll see me talk about the history of the sales curve as I looked at their conversion of Double Dragon 3. In that episode, I concentrated on the people who founded the company and their legacy within the games industry. So in this one, I thought I would talk about the people who actually made the games. Specifically, a small in-house team who went by the name of Random Access. This handful of talented programmers and artists were responsible, primarily, for a number of arcade conversions, starting with the release of Silkworm in 1989. That game was programmed by Ronald Peekett Vieserick, apologies if I've not pronounced that correctly, who has gone from making small games in BASIC on the Apple II in the early 1980s to working on some of the biggest games around. In 1986, he was making games for the MSX in the Netherlands, but suddenly found himself out of work when the company that he was working for closed down. He explains in an interview on the Code Tapper website how this was the point at which he bought himself an Amiga and decided to learn how to make games for it. Then, in 1988, he packed up and headed off to the ECTS show to try and find some work. After landing the job at the sales curve, he sold everything that he owned and moved to London. He would join up with fellow programmer John Crowdy, artist Ned Langman, and producer Dan Marchant. Silkworm was the team's first project together, and that was published by Virgin Games. They quickly followed that up with the Amiga versions of The Ninja Warriors, Narc, and Saint Dragon. The first of those games used a technique developed by Vieserick that allowed the game to load additional sprites in the background as you played. This was a feature that would go on to be used to even greater effect in 1991's Swiv. After working on arcade conversions back to back, this was the team's chance to make something of their own. According to Dan Marchant, Swiv isn't a direct sequel to Silkworm, but was definitely inspired by it. The background loading helped the game to stand out from other arcade shooters that were around at the time, as it allowed the game to be presented as a single, continuously scrolling level. It was a huge hit with critics upon release, and it remains to this day a firm favourite within the Amiga community. Rodland arrived in the latter half of 1991, based on a little-known arcade game. Jalico provided the team with all of the background graphics from the game, all jumbled up and in the wrong colours. The team then had to piece them all together from looking at videos of the arcade original. Everything else had to be written from scratch. Despite all this, Vieserick claims that the conversion process was very easy, and in total it only took 5 months to make. There were sadly no more Amiga games produced by the team. John Crowdy went on to join Probe Software, where he was part of the team that would develop Die Hard Trilogy, Alien Trilogy, and Forsaken. Marchant left to become a producer at Virgin Games, where he would be responsible for games such as Dune 2, Beneath the Steel Sky, and KGB. Ned Langman continued to produce art for multiple projects, but ultimately left the games industry altogether in 2003. Vieserick, on the other hand, after working on the SNES versions of Swiv, Dragon the Bruce Lee Story, and The Lawnmower Man, would eventually move to the US in 1997. There he ended up joining Pandemic Studios and became the lead programmer on both Mercenaries games. Nowadays he works at Insomniac Games as a tools programmer, and was most recently credited on their 3 Spider-Man games. Now though, let's go back and see what the critics made of Rodland upon its original release. So cute, it will make you puke. That's how Rodland was sold in its advertising, and that led to a very strange tagline on the front of Games X magazine for the first exclusive review in August 1991. Using a screenshot from the game with the headline "Prepare to Throw," the cover was certainly colourful, but I'm not sure that conjuring up images of somebody being sick was the right way to go. The review itself was strong, earning the X-rated Game of the Week stamp. In awarding it 4.5 X's out of 5, reviewer John Davison, who now works at IGN by the way, was full of praise for the gameplay, stating that it was tremendous fun to play, especially in two-player mode. He even made the bold claim that it was the best that he'd played since Super Mario. All of the other review scores that the game received were in the 80s, with the highest ones being from both Amiga Computing and the One Amiga. They both awarded the game 89% and stated that the conversion was so good that it actually improved on the arcade original in some areas. The lowest score that it received was from Amiga Power at 86%. Stuart Campbell reviewed the game and said that it was a beautiful game with near-perfect presentation. He also called anybody who accused the game of lacking depth a sad case. In fact, when he reviewed the game again for its budget re-release in 1993, he would actually increase the score to 92%, and at that point he claimed that it was one of his special games that he kept in his own office drawer alongside Sensible Soccer and Speedball 2. From 8 reviews in UK magazines, the average score is a hugely impressive 88%. On the Lemon Amiga website, the user score currently sits at 8.49 out of 10 from 259 votes, with the majority of the scores being 9 out of 10. Now though, let's load the game up and see what I think of it. It's time for the playtest. So basically the objective of the game is to just clear the screen of enemies, which you can either do by bashing them like I just did there, or if you collect all the flowers first, you enter the bonus game, where smashing them will give you letters to spell out the word extra. And what I generally try to do on the early stages is get as many of those letters early as you can, because every time you spell out the word extra, you will earn an extra life. I mean, it's strange that the only way that you can actually move around the level requires creating ladders to do so. You can't actually jump. Oh, I made that shark cry. I mean, the ability to create ladders is definitely a unique way of moving around the levels. Oh dear, game over already, and that was only the 4th screen. Okay, so let's try that again. So let's try and collect the flowers before we do anything else. Because you know it takes 3 bashes of an enemy to kill them. You can actually grab them and just fling them to one side once. Let's face it, the way that you can viciously bash enemies from side to side kind of goes against the cute approach of the rest of the game. That's a T, please, thank you. There we go, extra life. I think the animations on the enemies do actually help bring them to life quite well. And apparently there are more frames of animation used in this game than there were in the arcade version. There are certain levels where it's not really worth your while trying to get the flowers first, and I think this is one of them. I only need 1 extra letter to get the extra life here, so I'm going to try and gather up the flowers before I... There we go, letter E! Another extra life. We'll concede that there's probably not quite as much gameplay depth in this one as there is in something like Bubble Bubble. but I do find it very entertaining. So this one's a fairly good level for getting the flowers on, because the enemies go all the way to the bottom and then they can't go back up without you creating a ladder for them. Now these yellow ones will split if you don't kill them quickly. And you'll end up with a screen full of enemies. If you're not careful, that'll... Of course, the flip side to that is that you'll end up with more enemies to kill for the bonus letters. Oh, and we're up to the first world bonus. That's the first world boss fight. Fairly simple, really. You can end up making it harder on yourself if you try to tackle things a little bit too quickly. Oh. Game over? No way. Right, try it. Second attempt. Just need to concentrate on one crocodile at a time. Done! Hooray! Bonus of 10,000 points for defeating the boss. And now the music changes, which you probably weren't expecting. It's sort of a cute unicorn stroke bunny hybrid. I think the first piece of music that plays on the opening levels is probably slightly better than this one, but I think the music is all round pretty decent though. I mean, presentation-wise, the game is excellent. I don't know where the obsession with games being so cute that they wanted to make you puke came from when they're advertising, but if that's the way they wanted to go, that's their prerogative, I suppose. So yeah, let's leave the playtest there. I'm going to move on to the summary and wrap up my feelings. So let's do that right now. Arcade conversions on the Amiga do get a bad rap, deservedly so in a lot of cases, but I think arcade platform games are the ones that definitely fared the best. Bubble Bobble and Rainbow Islands are obviously the pinnacle, but as arcade conversions go, this one is astonishingly accurate, and I actually think I prefer playing the Amiga version over the original. Transitions between the screens are much quicker in this version, making the entire game zip along nicely, and the extra frames of animation give all the enemies a little bit more personality. It also features one of the most memorable and toe-tapping soundtracks that you could hear on the Amiga. I guarantee that you're probably already humming along to the music, as it's been in the background for the majority of this video. Rodland does lack the immediate appeal of some of its contemporaries. This is, after all, a platform game without a jump button, and that certainly takes a lot of getting used to. Once you do settle into the gameplay rhythm though, it's a unique and hugely enjoyable experience, especially for two players. The one thing holding it back though is that there are only 40 screens. This basically equates to 4 worlds of 10 each with a boss fight at the end. It won't take players very long to beat it, and when you do, you're simply greeted with a game over message and an invite to enter your name on the high score table. I'd have definitely preferred it if the levels looped and you could continue playing. It's been over a year since I made the Retro Game Super League video about arcade platform games, so I've rejigged some of the placements based on my opinions today. Rodland still sits easily within the essential category though. I'll put a link to that one in the video description. I think I'm going to give it 2 scores today, 8 out of 10 if you're playing it on your own, and 9 out of 10 if you can grab a friend to join you. We've reached the end of another episode of the re-review. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know your memories of playing Rodland in the comments, and whether or not you agree or disagree with any of the points that I've raised. Remember to give us a like and subscribe while you're at it, if you haven't already. If you're a fan of this series and you feel like there's a game that you'd really like to see me talk about, then joining our Discord will give you access to the Game Suggestions channel. I've already got a decent selection of games that have been recommended to me by viewers, and those episodes are already in the works, but I'll always welcome more. Discord is also going to be the home for our new monthly score competition. Starting on the 1st of July, members will be able to submit as many scores as they like throughout the month on the chosen game or games and show off their gaming prowess. Can you beat the UK Gaming Network team? Join in the fun and find out. If you want to see these episodes earlier than anybody else, please do check out our VIP membership offer in the video description. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, happy retro gaming. Bye for now.